An asbestos law firm is one of which the partners and associates specialize in litigation involving asbestos-related illnesses such as mesothelioma. Over 100 million people in the U.S., one-third of the population, have been exposed to potentially lethal levels of asbestos. Many of them have limited access to health care, if any, or must sacrifice everything they own in order to pay for treatment. The number of asbestos cancer cases, particularly malignant mesothelioma, has increased exponentially. Once a rare condition that ancient Greek physician Hippocrates named carcinos after sea crabs, cancer in one form or another is estimated to strike as many as 1 in 4 Americans. This, in turn, has led to an explosion of litigation as victims of corporate negligence attempt to recover medical expenses, lost wages, and compensation for pain and suffering for those ultimately responsible. Asbestos law firms are those in which the partners have decided to focus on asbestos-related cases. The background of asbestos litigation. Although the dangers of asbestos exposure had been confirmed by around 1940, the first lawsuit was not filed until over a quarter century later. On 10 December 1966, former Johns Manville employee Clyde Tomplate filed a complaint against his former employer and 10 other corporations involved in the manufacture and use of asbestos. In the complaint, Tomplate alleged that the defendants had known about the hazards and had failed to issue a proper warning. Failure to warn became a major element in asbestos litigation for the next 40 years. Tomplate's attorney, Ward Stevenson, also represented a co-worker, Clarence Burrell, in another action filed in October of 1969. In addition to the element of failure to warn, the Burrell suit alleged that the defendants had failed to remove their products from the market when they were determined to be hazardous. A representative for one of the defendants in the Burrell case, John Manville's accident prevention manager Clifford Scheckler, claimed that he had not heard about the connection between asbestos and respiratory disease prior to 1964. Therefore, the company could not be held liable for the illnesses of workers exposed prior to that time. Despite this claim, Attorney Stevenson was able to win both the Burrell case and the appeal that came afterwards. Nonetheless, Scheckler's claim of ignorance became a standard defense in the years following the Burrell case and often prevailed over the failure to warn claim. Then, in 1977, New Jersey attorney Carl Ashe discovered a company annual report that in turn led to the discovery of documents showing that the industry had had full knowledge of the dangers of asbestos since the late 1930s, knowledge that had been deliberately and willfully hidden from the public. Not only did this discovery destroy the industry's state-of-the-art claim of ignorance defense, it opened the door to an additional hundreds of thousands of cases. Asbestos litigation today. Between 1977 and 2003, some 600,000 lawsuits have been filed against the industry, with more than examples of industry cover-ups being exposed on a regular, ongoing basis. Over the past 30 years, asbestos litigation has resulted in the bankruptcy of over 70 U.S. companies. Starting in 2003, the U.S. Senate, at the behest of industry lobbyists, attempted to pass legislation to protect the asbestos industry by denying victims the right to sue the companies. Instead, a federal trust fund would be set up from which asbestos claims would be paid. The latest legislative proposal was defeated in 2006. The laws governing torts or civil actions under which asbestos litigation falls can be complex. Different states have different statutes, and important elements, such as the burden of proof, may be more rigorous or demanding in some states than in others. This is why it is worthwhile to engage an asbestos law firm. These attorneys have made it a priority to keep up with the latest research, legal opinions, and case law involving mesothelioma and other asbestos-related diseases. Several mesothelioma lawyers maintain massive databases of information related to virtually every aspect of the asbestos industry. This last point is vitally important. In many cases, it is important to identify not only where asbestos exposure took place and under what conditions, but also the original manufacturer of the substance or product in question. Despite numerous bankruptcies, many of these corporations were acquired and merged with other corporations. In such cases, a parent company may be held liable. For example, as of 2000, Halliburton had paid out nearly $100 million to settle over asbestos suits against the company's subsidiaries. Choosing an asbestos law firm. When considering taking legal action, it is wise to interview the attorneys and investigate their records. How many cases have they won? How many have been settled out of court? Have there been any complaints against members of the firm? How many years' experience do these attorneys have? Will they take a case on a contingency basis? These are excellent questions to ask when meeting with an asbestos attorney. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.net. Information and help for patients and families.